What's going on, YouTube? My name's Justin, and in this video we're going to be discussing emergency funds, what they are, how much you should have, examples of what you can use them on, and how do you save for one. An emergency fund is simply a fund of money you have set to the side in order to pay for financial emergencies. It's kind of like just having insurance for your money, so you don't have to go into debt to pay for your emergencies. Having this money set to the side, whether it's in actual cash or in a liquid account, like just your basic savings account or a money market account, it puts a lot of ease to your otherwise stressful life when an emergency happens. Because a lot of times when it comes to emergencies, we just kind of run our credit card, or then we just have to pay it later, and then we just freak out then. So why not just have this cash available to pay for these emergencies when they happen, to take the strain off of ourselves? Some examples of what you could be using your emergency fund on are things like your car breaks down. Maybe you need a new tire or something that helps your car function breaks and you just need to get it repaired, and using your emergency fund to pay for that right away is a lot better than swiping your credit card and having to pay it later. Maybe your AC unit at home breaks down and you need to repair that. You have your emergency fund to pay for it with and take the stress out of your life. Something else is an unexpected medical bill. Maybe you're out hanging out with friends or something and you get hurt. Instead of having that bill come and ruin your life, you have your emergency fund to pay for it. Now that we've gone over some examples of what are emergencies, what are some things that don't constitute themselves as emergencies? And a very simple one is going out with friends. Maybe you're living paycheck to paycheck and you have an emergency fund, but you don't have any more money left until your next paycheck to go out with your friends. You might be tempted to take money from the emergency fund because you don't want to miss out. It's the whole fear of missing out. And you want to take it from your emergency fund, but you shouldn't. Because what happens if you do and then an emergency happens and now you just don't have the money to pay for it because you didn't even have money to go out with your friends in the first place, and now you don't even have money for the emergency. So don't take money out of your emergency fund to go out with your friends. It's not worth it. Another emergency that is not an emergency is getting the newest game or gaming system. You don't want to miss out on everybody getting better at a video game. I get it, I play video games. But don't spend your emergency fund on the new game or system. Don't. Not an emergency. Another one is clothing. And this kind of takes a weird stride because there's a lot of people, when they get new jobs, they want to go buy clothing to kind of look nice at their new job. And they might go into their emergency fund if they don't have cash available to buy the clothing. Please don't, because anything that can happen will happen. And if you buy this clothing, whatever's up there might bring an emergency onto you, and now you don't have the money for it. Just please don't go into debt for clothing. Don't use your emergency fund. It's not worth it. That just scared me. Now that we've gone over examples of what are and aren't emergencies and just what an emergency fund really is, how much should you have in your emergency fund? Experts, financial advisors, will typically say about 3 to 6 months worth of your living expenses. Some say 6 to 12, but you're typically going to see about 3 to 6 months as the recommended emergency fund size. Now, one little side note to this is that those who are younger and they don't really have a lot of expenses, or they're just starting out working in general, I would typically recommend having an emergency about $500 to $1,000. That's what I was always told growing up as well. It's just kind of like a baby starter emergency fund to kind of eventually, when you get into your later years of working, you get more expenses in your life, you can work to build that up. So that way when you kind of get out of college and stuff, you might have your 3 to 6 months already built up by then. Now that we've gone over all of that, one question might be is, how do you save your emergency fund? I personally saved about 10% of each paycheck. Some paychecks were about 20% until I reached my goal for my emergency fund, and I kept that in an Ally Money Market account. I don't use a basic savings account with my bank. I only use a checking, my Ally Money Market, and then I have 2 different investment accounts. So keeping it in my Ally Money Market, I'm getting about 1.8% APY at the time of this video. And it's just, the money's not there to be an investment. It's there to just keep me safe should an emergency happen, and I don't have to use a credit card or anything to pay for the emergency. Now, outside of using a percentage basis of your paycheck to help pay for it, I also used any extra cash that I got, whether it was from tips or even returning bottles or something. Just something that you're getting extra cash that isn't a part of your actual paycheck. Putting that into the account can help really just snowball that into a fully funded emergency fund. Thank you for checking out the video. Please leave a comment below on if you have an emergency fund and other ways that you kind of saved your emergency fund to help anybody else out that watches this video. Mine was just how I saved mine, and there's tons of other ways that you can. But please leave your comments below and tell people how you did it. Also, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell. I'm going to be posting about once or twice a week. And this, I'm kind of just using YouTube as a way of getting any sort of financial advice that I've gotten and learned to other people that I know that need financial help. And anybody else that this can help on the way, I hope it does. See you guys.